Thanks for joining us for World Kitchen. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. This is one of those Heritage Months that straddles 2 months. So it started in September 15th, and it runs through October 15th. So this is our second World Kitchen with Maria and Larry Terry, and I'll introduce them in just a moment. But the one we did back in September was live in our studio in Innovation Park at WPSU. So I hope some of you were able to watch or join us in the studio for that. If not, the video is on our website now, and you can always go back and watch that. It was a different recipe. They showed us how to make baleadas, and they were fabulous. And a few of you have sent in photos of the ones you made. Thank you for that. As always, if you're working with us today and cooking along with us, we'd love to see your photos of your finished products. So be sure to send those back to me via email if you do cook along. So for now, I'd like to thank our sponsor of World Kitchen, the Penn State Outreach and Online Education Office of Inclusion, Equity, and Diversity, who have been our sponsors for a couple of years now, and we always appreciate their help with World Kitchen. And now I would like to introduce Maria and Larry Terry. Come on over. So Maria is originally from Honduras, and her husband Larry is Outreach's new-ish vice president. He's been with us for a while, but we're really excited to have them here and try some more of their delicious food. So I will go behind the scenes and let Maria and Larry take it over.
Wonderful. So we're so excited to be here and share our enchiladas recipe with everyone. It's a different recipe for many people, but we're excited to show how we make this at home. So we're gonna start right away with the ground meat, and we're gonna get that ready. Let's get started. So we're just gonna start with a little bit of vegetable oil. To get the pan ready for our cooking of the meat, our ground meat. All right, so we'll get that medium to high heat. All right, we'll add a little bit more.
So while you're getting this ready, can you tell me a little bit about this recipe? Is this one that you make frequently at home?
I do make it frequently because it's so easy to make. It has a lot of ingredients, but it's very simple, not that time consuming, and it's quick and easy for either a lunch or a dinner. So it's one of our favorites, or when you want to celebrate something special, we'll make some enchiladas. And can you pass me the onions?
Yes.
So we've already prepared some chopped up onions and tomatoes and green peppers that we'll just let marinate a little bit here to get that going, and then bring the ground meat over. So all right. Okay. So you want to do this in medium to high heat and let that simmer for 1 or 2 minutes to get these veggies going. Just bring up the heat a little bit. Already smells good. So this, like I said, it's fun for making it for lunch or to celebrate. It's easy and it's very tasty.
Great. I think it looks like it's a fairly simple recipe that most people, if they're new to this type of cooking, could give a try, and it would be not too intimidating.
Yeah. Especially because, you can season it to, what you prefer. You could have certain seasonings that you maybe use regularly, salt, pepper, chicken bouillon to season. Some people could, add a little bit of onion, garlic powder, cumin if they choose to, however you feel most comfortable in seasoning your meat, but that's what I usually go with. Yeah.
It seems like a dish also where you could sort of camouflage the veggies and get some veggies for your kids.
Yes. And the veggies, they just give it that nice flavor, full of flavor. So it's really, really good. The sneaking of the veggies is pretty awesome.
So can you tell me a little bit about how you learned to cook, or how you learned to make the food that you like to cook at home?
So I'm the oldest of four. And my siblings, I usually carry a lot of the responsibility at the house, when I was younger. And so I would always help my mom with the cooking at a very early age. She would have me prepare the rice before she came home, prepare or season, any kind of protein that would be eating that evening. So I started cooking at a very young age because, just helping out my parents because they would work and I would be at home with my siblings. So that's where I started, learning how to cook. I had the responsibility of helping out around the house as the oldest.
And I know you were born in Honduras, but then you moved to the U.S. fairly young.
We did. I was about 6 to 7 years old when we first came to the U.S. And my siblings, my brother was 5 or 4, and my sister Christina was a baby, and my sister Susie, she was born, in the United States after that. But we came at a very young age, and we used to go back and forth too between the U.S. and Honduras, and so I would spend some time with my grandparents, or I would, come back and be with my parents. Typically, oftentimes when you're, come to this country, sometimes people stay with their grandparents, while your parents come here to, find a good life, work on that. And so I spent some time with my grandparents in Honduras with my siblings. But we've been here since the 80s.
Yeah. Well, it's great. You kind of got to, have that life here, but then go back occasionally and see with your grandparents and, absorb that culture as well.
Yeah, I think it was really important for me growing up to see, maintain like culture, visit family in Honduras, but also, embracing the new culture here in the U.S. And I love it when I go back, and I can't wait to take my kids there one day so they can, see their family that's from Honduras and see part of their culture. Yeah.
So Larry, you have some Hispanic family background as well, right?
I do. Should I come?
Sure, wherever you're comfortable.
I'll go back here. Yeah, so my mom's side of the family is Mexican American, and my parents divorced when I was really young, and so I grew up with my mom in San Jose, California, and it's a lot of Mexican culture there, and so I grew up with that side of the family, and so it was an interesting upbringing. But certainly the culture that I'm also proud of, and we try to bring to our family as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of similarities between the food you grew up with and what Maria's family grew up with?
I guess so. I don't think that there's a big sort of difference in flavor or recipe. So I would say that there's a lot of similarities, but in our household, Maria's the cook, and so I know my place in the kitchen, and it's to support her and to eat everything that she cooks up. So yeah.
That pan gets a little warm in case
Thank
Do you need me to do anything, honey, while you're doing this?
Can you just help me with the potatoes? You can throw those in there.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, when I think of enchiladas, I think of the enchiladas that we see in the Hispanic restaurants around here, which are more like the rolled flour tortilla with sauce on top. So these are very different. I don't know, exactly, is there a reason for that, or is it just, it's the traditional way to do enchiladas in Honduras?
It's just the way they do it in Honduras. It's, there's so many different variations, but I feel like we use a lot of the same ingredients across different, Hispanic countries, or you know, Latin American countries, they'll have like a different version of it.
Yeah, and so when we first met and she started to cook this, I guess typically you think of this as a tostada, right?
Right.
But she would say, I'm having enchiladas, and I would think what you're saying, like the rolled up, and so I was like, oh, okay. But it's in essence like a tostada, which you might see in sort of a Mexican dish, but in Honduras they call it the enchilada. So
So you're using a particular tomato sauce there. You said you like this Goya version
Yeah.
of the tomato sauce. It's more
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah, it's so good. It's just the one we traditionally have used forever. And so I use a lot of Goya products when I cook food. So this salsa is always like a staple, the tomato paste. Yeah. So let me just add a little bit of water here, and then we're going to cover it so we can let it cook.
So we have the beginning was the oil with the veggies, the onion, the tomato, and the green pepper. Then you added in the meat after that had cooked a bit. Then you added in chopped potato, the tomato sauce, and now some water.
Yeah, and we're actually cooking 2 pounds of ground meat right now, so I'm gonna add like more chicken bouillon so that you know more flavor to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the bouillon again is that Goya version that you like.
Yes.
great advertising today.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think we're really lucky here locally in the State College area that we can find it at a lot of our supermarkets, even Walmart, I think you can find it. You know, it used to be years ago, you had to drive some ways to find, you know, some of these more ethnic brands. And even for us, you know, with me cooking Middle Eastern food, you know, my husband would have to bring things back from the Middle East. And now you can kind of find it here locally, which is really great.
Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of stuff you can get, like you said, Walmart, even Wegmans carry a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
So
it gets hot.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right, so we'll let that cook for 10 to 15 minutes. And while that happens, over maybe like medium to high heat, and then we're just gonna prepare the salsa so that we can be ready for when we have to prepare our enchilada. Okay, so if you can hand me the onions and cilantro. Let's get this going first.
So you had some onions diced up to go into the meat dish. No, it's down. It's this one down here.
This one. Okay. We'll switch it. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so we're gonna make the salsa here. Again, a little bit of oil.
So you use some chopped onion in the meat sauce, but then you've got some more like sliced onion over there?
Yes, sliced onion, because it's really good when you get like the little bits of cooked onion in the sauce once you top, because the sauce is the last thing you put in the enchilada, and you cover all the toppings with the sauce. So it's nice to have like the flavors of the onion and the cilantro as a topping. Yeah.
And I don't even like onions, but I don't mind it in this because you can't really taste it, but it adds to the flavor. So
yeah, I think a lot of times people who don't like onions, if you cook them, you know, it's such a different flavor, and it does just add a certain, you know, extra flavor to the dish.
Anything else left?
Yeah, so well, let's let this simmer for a little bit, and then we'll add some of the Goya's tomato sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. We'll add a little bit of water to the sauce as well, about half a cup, depending on how much you want to make.
So the sauce is just the last thing that goes on top when you're done, right?
Yes.
So do your kids enjoy eating this type of food, or are they more of like a hamburger and French fries kids?
They enjoy eating this type of food, but I think they enjoy it more when my mom makes it. Yeah. So my mom is here this weekend visiting, and she's like, Mama, like, I want your tortillas, not mine.
Awesome.
Just gonna put a little bit more seasoning on there.
So the Goya chicken bouillon, I noticed you used that in our previous World Kitchen as well. Even though it's chicken bouillon, you're using it more as a seasoning, just,
Yes.
In beef, in whatever, right?
Yeah, it's a
Goes
lot
on
of,
everything.
yeah, we use it a lot, even if it's beef or, sometimes when I fry shrimp, I put a little bit of
Okay.
chicken bouillon in the flour mix,
Uh-huh.
and so we use it a lot, either that or sazon, or sofrito, just really staple seasonings that you use. Adobo, from Goya has adobo as well. But there's a really nice brand at Wegmans called Luisa, and they're like a very organic forward kind of brand. And so they have a really nice adobo
Okay.
and a really nice sazon if you ever want to try it out, or sofrito. And sofrito is just like minced cilantro, garlic, onions, and it's like a paste, and it's a base for a lot of cooking in a Latin, type of cuisine. So yeah. So let's add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste.
Anything else?
And then we're gonna, while this gets all the flavors and cooking, we're gonna initiate the frying of the tortillas. So a little pepper and salt. Should heat up the pan.
Okay.
And that one would be this one. Yeah.
You want to do both?
You might want to, maybe we could switch now and
Switch them?
put the sauce in the back,
Yep.
just because the front one's a little bit of a bigger burner for you there. Yeah, and we can probably see that a little better too. So while you're getting that pan ready and waiting for the oil to heat up, talk to me about tortillas, because last month you showed us how to make our own flour tortillas, which was so much fun, and I'm really excited to have some time to try to do that on my own. I know, like I said, some of our viewers did and have sent in the photos, and they all turned out great. But these we just purchased because that's saving a little bit of time. And these are corn tortillas. So these are a little different. And I don't know, for me, corn tortillas just feel a little firmer, maybe. So why would you use a corn tortilla for this as opposed to a flour?
I feel because it's like lighter and crispier
To fry.
to fry, and then it's like a tostada, so the corn tortilla will work best because you can fry it and you'll have that crunch when you build a tortilla. It's just been a traditional corn flavor that comes with making an enchilada, so it's my preference. I don't think I've ever seen it with a flour tortilla, but yeah. And I usually use the white corn tortilla, so these fry them for like a minute, it works. But you also bought the yellow corn tortilla, and those are just flavored different flavors, and these are good as well too.
And then, you also had mentioned that, if you want to really be quick,
Yes.
you can use these, correct? These pre-made.
So if you don't want to fry the tortillas and you want to probably save some calories from the deep frying in the oil, these tostadas work just fine. And after you just cook your meat, have your sauce and your fixings, this works great too. I mean, this is like quick family night, maybe dinner, it'll be fast, you don't have to do a lot. So this is a good way to go too.
one of our viewers says, the thing about Goya sauce is that you'll see on the can that it says Spanish style. So it kind of has the Latin flavors already in there. She started some bagged beans, Puerto Rican style last night, and her adult kids are very excited, but they were asking what the occasion was. She guesses she doesn't cook enough Puerto Rican food.
And Puerto Rican food is so good. Like, it's just very flavorful. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I was craving Puerto Rican like the entire time. So we'd be like, we gotta cook a pork shoulder, you know, all similar flavors. But yeah, it's just so good. The cuisine is great.
It smells really good in here. I'm not sure which one I'm smelling. I guess it's probably the meat mixture, but
Yeah.
it's really beginning to smell amazing.
Yeah.
You need to stir this.
It's kind of interesting that they have the potatoes in the meat mixture. That's a little different for me too.
Yes, and again, it could be one of those things where you have your preference, but my mom always cooked the ground meat with little bites of potato. It feels hearty and filling, so it's great.
Yeah, and I would assume that it, like in most, a lot of older family recipes, you added something that was lower cost to stretch things out. So if the meat is an expensive item, you add some potato to stretch your dollar there a little bit.
Do you need tongs for this, honey? Are you going to do that?
Let me see. I'll get you some.
Yeah. All right.
And then where are we going to put those when you're trying to?
Oh, we can use a plate.
Okay.
So let's start with 2 tortillas. Oh, wonderful. So here you want to just get the oil to medium to high heat, and you'll start noticing that you'll start getting your bubbles, and the tortilla is going to fry nice and neat. You flip it every 30 seconds and continue to fry it until you get like a nice golden brown.
If you're like me, the first one of anything, from pancakes to anything, is always the one that mom eats because it doesn't look as pretty as the rest.
Yes.
So, yeah. Once that oil comes up to temperature, they'll go much faster and look much better.
Yes, that's the same thing happened at the baleada event. My first one was not the best baleada. Every all the others came out really great.
Are there variations of this recipe that you enjoy? For some reason, I feel like mango salsa would be great on that.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah,
so we, you can have a different variation. In Honduras, we make chimol, and that's what you would call like the salsa, like the chopped up tomatoes, onions.
Like pico, right?
Yeah, like pico de gallo. Yeah, so tomato, onions, green pepper, cilantro, fresh lime, salt, pepper. And we have added mango in the past because it's just yummy. I would totally add some mango in a pico de gallo and throw this on top. Yeah.
I put tomatillo sauce on everything myself, so I would throw that on there. I like that sharp flavor of the tomatillos. Yeah. And so then one of my favorite parts of any cuisine is the cheese, and I know Larry's going to handle that for us in a few minutes. But what kind of cheese are we using in this?
So we're using cotija cheese for this recipe. We just like the flavor is salty, but you can use fresh queso. You can even use mozzarella cheese if you wanted to, but we usually go with the queso fresco or.
It's like the crumbling cheese, yeah.
Okay. He wondered if these would be easier for you. I don't know.
Oh, you see my hands are shaking. That's just like when I was in the military, it was scary because I would hold my rifle and my hands would shake a little bit. My friends make fun of me. My friends make fun of me for that. I think it's good. It's working out really good. So let's check on the meat, because once this is done, like, we're gonna be able to work.
You want me to do something over here?
We're just gonna check on this real quick.
Okay.
I think this is your sister, Larry. She
Yeah.
says you love all cheese. Of course, that's your contribution to the meal.
Yes. Yep. Very true.
She knows you so well.
Mhm.
Smells
Great.
amazing.
Are you going to do that while you
Yeah,
watch those?
just lower the heat a little bit.
That's that first one.
Yeah. Here, and use that. Move that around a little bit, and then we can cover it again.
We'll just use that because the handles are really hot.
Yeah.
Gary says thank you for your service, Maria.
Oh, yes. When I was in the service, I would also cook in our barracks. So, because I knew how to cook. So our friends would just bring me the ingredients and they would ask me to make like arroz con gandules or stewed chicken with potatoes, potato
Yeah.
salad. And I cook for my friends in our barracks too all the time.
It smells great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, those are looking nice, starting to brown up a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like it's taking a little bit longer because we had to wait for the
The oil.
to warm up, at a good temperature. But once it's warm, like the next ones that you fry will get crispy really quickly.
So I noticed that you also, part of the recipe is cabbage that you sliced really thin. Is that's added as like where we might see lettuce, you're using cabbage instead. So there's not really anything you do to it other than slicing it up.
No, I personally don't do anything. Some people can will put salt, pepper, and like maybe a little drizzle of vinegar, and they could give it that flavor. I personally don't do it, but there's other people that would just season it with salt, pepper, and vinegar, and it turns out really good too.
Okay, more of
Yeah.
a slaw type. Okay.
All right, so these tostadas are looking real good. And I think they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Very pretty.
Yeah, that looks good. Should I do the cheese soon, or?
Yeah, why don't you go grate the cheese?
All right, we will move over to the counter here in just a minute as soon as Larry's ready, and Maria can work on some things over here. So you're adding the cilantro to the sauce?
Yes, and that's the cilantro.
I love cilantro in anything, but I know there are people who don't like cilantro. It's a known thing that cilantro tastes like soap to some people. But I feel sorry for those people because I think cilantro is great on anything and everything. Okay, I think Larry's ready to. Okay, yeah, we can go to the overhead for Larry. Yeah. There we go. Larry, we're gonna let you show us how you grate that cheese.
This is something I can tackle. I can do this. And honey, what kind of cheese is this again?
It's the cotija.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Great grating there, Larry.
Yeah, I was practicing yesterday.
Oh,
for
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Okay, but while you're doing that, Larry, you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more. I know you do like to cook certain things. What is it that you're the expert at?
I just like to smoke meat, and I can do some omelets, but mostly my weekend contribution is smoking ribs like we had last night. I smoked a couple of racks of ribs.
Wait a minute. You smoked ribs last night and I didn't see any come in my door?
Well, they all got consumed.
Oh, Larry.
They all got consumed, but like I said, I do it pretty much every weekend.
Oh.
And so I'm happy to bring some.
We
your
have
way in
talked
the future.
about doing an OOE, or
Yeah.
probably have to do it unit by unit because they're so big, but
Yeah.
maybe a WPSU smoked beef or ribs party or something. Yes.
Yeah, I do brisket, which is the hardest to do because you have to really pay attention so it doesn't get dried out. But I do brisket, ribs, chicken, pork shoulder. But it's fun to relax on the weekend, when I'm watching sports, just sit out in the backyard and My daughter actually has, my daughter London has taken a liking to helping me season the meat. Like she gets really into that. She even likes to throw the charcoal into the smoker, like to get it started. So she's into it more so than my son. But yeah, so at least the tradition will carry on in some way.
Is that something you taught yourself?
No, my dad was big into smoking meats, and it was his thing, weekend thing, just to go sit outside and he had these different variations of smokers over time, and I've also gone through that similar exercise of trying to find the right smoker. And Maria's really good too, because she's honest. She's like, no, this one's not good, or you need to start it earlier so we're not eating at 10 o'clock at night. Or
yeah.
So she's been a real good sort of positive critique over the years to help me get my smoking where it needs to be. So, but it's fun. It's fun.
Helen would like us to schedule a World Kitchen with Larry using the smoker.
Okay, well, that's going to be like an 8-hour version because it takes all day. But yeah, we could do some variation of that. But yeah,
we'd have to bring World Kitchen to your place.
Yes,
though.
you would. We just sit in the backyard for hours and hours. So yeah,
we could do a morning version, and
That's right.
let's get the meat started, and then
Right.
come back, at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock when it's ready. And
yeah, no, that would be good. That would be good.
We're gonna start, just gonna do some real quick taste tests,
Oh, nice.
and then,
Well, the cheese is ready whenever you are.
yeah.
We got plenty here.
I don't know, Larry, that cheese is usually my favorite part.
Okay.
So I guess that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
The other interesting thing about this dish, I know it's in the recipe, but we haven't really talked about it yet, is that it's got hard-boiled egg on it.
Mm-hmm. That also might be one of my favorite aspects of this too. The cheese and the eggs. Yeah. Honey, you want to explain a little bit about the egg?
Yeah,
as part of the recipe.
It's really interesting, but I couldn't say much regarding the history of it, but it's just my mom has always added the sliced eggs. It's so good.
On top, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And Larry happens to really enjoy eggs cooked different ways, but he liked the boiled egg slice touch on top.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Great. So we got our tortillas, and
Beautiful.
so we got the cheese, the boiled eggs right here, sliced, and then we sliced some tomatoes too that will go on top. So let me check on the meat and see if we can start building enchiladas real soon.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Should I stir this up?
Yeah, you can start.
Maybe turn on the heat. Is that?
Huh?
Maybe turn on the heat.
Oh, you can turn it on a little bit, yeah.
All right.
It's already looking really good. That's the meat with some potato. Let's see, now for the moment. Very good.
It's good.
I'm just gonna add a little bit more seasoning, maybe just a little bit more of chicken bouillon, and then it'll be good to go. And then we could probably start building some of our enchiladas.
Wonderful.
So honey, if you can get a plate ready and put 2 tortillas on
There's
the
a plate
plate.
right there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, and
now
we're gonna start.
You want me to get here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna layer that up, and then they'll bring it back over to the counter, and we'll
Put
get
on.
to see.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's good.
That's good. Okay.
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Whoa. Yeah.
So we have our 2. Yes. So now we're gonna do some little bit of cabbage on top. So again, super easy once you have all your stuff it helped that we kind of prepared it in
Mhm.
advance.
Yeah. So you shredded that cabbage really finely, you
Mhm.
know, thinly. I was really impressed because she did it with a knife. She didn't use a grater or anything. Great knife skills.
I'm gonna add a slice of
That
tomato.
looks good.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you need the sauce, honey?
Yeah.
How do you want me to do that?
Just let's wait a second.
Okay.
And let's add some yummy cheese on top. All right.
Put the sauce on there.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sauce looks great too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab one of your spoons here.
Sure. So the egg, then the cheese, and now the sauce.
Yes, the sauce is last.
I mean, I think that cheese really makes it.
Yeah.
The cheese is the most important part. You're right, Larry.
You did a
My
great
technique was flawless.
You did a great job,
Yeah.
honey. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh, beautiful.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is so quick and easy. This could be a great weeknight meal after work or, you know, on a busy Saturday between soccer games.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very easy, quick. It's very tasty,
Mhm.
and it's a nice little treat for
Yeah, beautiful.
Mhm.
Now for some folks who might want it a little more spicy, I'm assuming you can add jalapenos or
Oh yes, you could spice up the sauce if you want
Nice.
that goes on the enchilada. But the jalapenos would be a really good touch too.
what about some avocado?
They don't traditionally go
Yeah.
on the enchilada,
Okay.
but you can have it on the side.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so very quick and easy.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Well, Larry, I'm gonna let you be the taste tester.
All right.
So how will we eat this? Do we pick it up and eat it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, it's
Go
gonna.
ahead,
all over
honey.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
That's right. Oh.
yeah. That's good. That's really good. You try?
You did another
okay.
bite.
Yeah. Wow, you lost it. Okay.
Mm.
Best eaten sitting at a
Very
table.
good.
Yes. How was it?
It's excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. But you can see it can be a little messy, but it's good.
A good, messy in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah says, you know, she's hoping WPSU can get smell-o-vision. She can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Very good.
Awesome, awesome. When we come back around, and thank you all for joining us today on World Kitchen. I wish you could be here to try some of this. We're all obviously going to make some more of these and enjoy them with Larry and Maria. If you can find a way to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month for the next few days, it ends October 15th. And our next World Kitchen will be in November, and we will be joined by a chef from Bolivia. So we've never had anyone from Bolivia before. I'm excited about that. Keep an eye on the WPSU World Kitchen website later next week for more information and to register for that workshop. Thanks again, and thanks again to our sponsor. Bye-bye.
Videos like this are made possible by support from viewers like you. If you enjoyed this video, visit WPSU.org to become a member today and help us create more content like this.